Hello, teacher.
Hello, good evening, Laura Viviana González. Hello, good evening. Can you hear me? Laura Viviana, can you hear me? ¿Me escuchas?
Hello, teacher.
Hello, how are you? So let's wait for some seconds to see if other students are coming, okay? To start.
Okay, teacher.
Let's start for some minutes. Hello, Laura. Laura Viviana, can you hear me?
Hello, teacher.
Yes, okay, very good. So now we are going to start with our session today. We are going to work and use and practice the use of the models of obligation. Right now, I am going to share with you my screen. Can you see my screen with models of obligation? Yes? Laura Viviana?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, very good. So here in this chart, you can see three models of obligation: must, have to, and need to. Today, we are going to practice these two models in special, must and have to. Those models are used when you are going to express obligations. Remember that last session, we were working with some models for suggestion. You remember the use of should, can, could, may, and might. Today, we are going to see must and have to, which are models of obligation. And now we are going to see when and what are they used for. Remember that must is used when you are expressing something in the affirmative way. Can you see my screen right now? Yes? Pueden ver mi pantalla. Yes? Must.
Yes, teacher.
Must it is used to talk about something that is necessary to do and is used only in present tense. Okay? You cannot use it in past tense, only in present tense. Must. Maybe you are familiar with this model, and is when you want to express your personal obligations in affirmative way, is when you need to express the needs that your personal needs or the things that you need to do. Laura Viviana, can you please read the examples that you can see here on the chart? Example 1 and example 2, the sentences. Laura Viviana Gonzalez.
You must be on time. He must drive when you aren't drunk.
Okay. Remember, Laura, to say you must, no? The pronunciation is you must be on time. Remember that must be on time is to be punctual. So you say you must be on time means that you must be punctual when you are going to meet friends, when you have a reunion, or maybe when you need to go to work, you must be punctual. So it's a personal need, personal obligation. The second one, Laura, you read he must not or mustn't. He mustn't drive when you are drunk. Repeat again. He mustn't drive when you are drunk. Can you repeat, please?
He must drive
Must,
when
must not, mustn't.
we
He mustn't, repeat, mustn't
he must drive when you aren't drunk.
are drunk. Very good. Here, mustn't in negative form refers to a prohibition. It's part of the rules. It's not something that is not necessary. It's part of the rules. So you say he mustn't drive when you are drunk is something that is prohibited to drive a car or a motorcycle, to ride a motorcycle when you are drunk. Drunk means when you have alcoholic drinks. Cuando has tomado mucho is prohibited, no? So you say you mustn't. You mustn't drive when you are drunk. Mustn't, negative form, refers when you are talking about prohibitions. Must, affirmative way, is when you want to express something that is necessary for you to do. It's your personal obligation, okay? And now we continue with have to. This is another model. Have to is different to must in the sense that you can use have to for the present, for the past, and for the future. With the present tense, you conjugate have to with has to. Have to is for plural subjects, or when you say I have to, you have to, we or they have to. And has to is used for singular subjects when you are going to express with he or she or it, you say has to. What is the past tense of have to? Have to, no? Have to is the past tense of have to. And have to is conjugated in with all tenses, no? You can say I had to, you had to, they had to, okay? Is with all the tenses the conjugation of the have. The past tense had to, okay? And then you have the other tense when you are going to express negative forms. Remember that must, the negative form of must is mustn't. When you want to express something negative with have to, you say or use the auxiliary do and does for the present. So you say, he doesn't have to go to work tomorrow, for example. He doesn't have to go. Or you don't have to work tomorrow. So in that is the auxiliary do and does for the negative form we have and for the present tense. When you want to express something in the past, you use did, no? Didn't have to. You didn't have to. She didn't have to present the work, or she didn't have to present the essay to the teacher. And when you want to express something in future, you use will. Will have to for all the tenses. I will have to, you will have to, they will have to. What happened with must? Must is only for present tense. So you cannot use any other modal. Estos auxiliares, do, does, did, no se pueden utilizar con el must, porque must no lo admite, solamente para el presente. Y si quieres usar algo negativo, must not or mustn't. While have to is used with do, does for the present, did for the past, will for the future. For the negative form, you say don't have to, doesn't have to, didn't have to. And it has, look at, have to has almost the same meaning as must, because have to means tener que hacer algo. Have to, affirmative way, is when you want to express laws or rules. Laws significa leyes. Something that is part of the rule is the law. For example, children have to wear uniform to go to school. Is part of the rule. You have to pay a tuition to go to university, ¿no? Tenemos que pagar un semestre, una matrícula. You have to pay a tuition. So, affirmative with have to is when you are talking about the laws and the rules. In negative way, doesn't have to or don't have to, is when you express something that is not necessary to do. For example, some students don't have to go to tutorings because it's not necessary for them. They are very good at English and they don't have to assist to attend to tutoring sessions. It's not necessary. Some students don't have to attend to tutoring sessions because for them it's not necessary. Don't have to or doesn't have to. Can you please help me to read the examples? Claudia Rojas? Hello, Claudia? Can you hear me, Claudia? Do you have your microphone? Claudia? Is your microphone working? Or you are not here? Claudia Rojas, hello, good evening, Claudia. Hello, Claudia? I don't know, but maybe she's here, but she isn't. Claudia. Okay, Laura Viviana, can you please continue reading the second two examples with has to and have to, please? Laura Viviana, can you hear me?
Yes, teacher.
Can you read the examples with he, has, and they have, please? Examples, the sentences.
Here,
He has
he has
to
to
use.
use jeans, silver. They
Oh,
they have
the,
to wear their
to wear
to wear their uniform at school.
at the school. Very good. So in these two examples, first, the conjugation of the verb, the auxiliary verb have. In the first one, he has, no? He has, she has. In the second one, they have, present tense. So you have to keep on mind the conjugation. And in both examples, they are expressing, they are explaining something that is part of the rule. If you are going to drive a car, if you are going to travel by plane, you should, no? You have to, it's not should. You have to use the seat belt. The seat belt es el cinturón de seguridad. So it's mandatory. It's part of the rule, es parte de la regla that you have to wear, or he or she has to use the seat belt. And in the second one, that they have to wear uniforms is mandatory in some schools, no? It's part of the rules of some school to wear a uniform. In other schools, maybe it's not necessary. If it's not necessary to wear a uniform, you say children don't have to wear a uniform to go to that school because it's not necessary. Like, for example, in United States, in Canada, children don't have to wear uniforms. It's not necessary for them to wear uniforms, no? Here in Colombia, in most of the schools, you have to wear, children have to wear a uniform to go to schools, primary or secondary schools. Very good. And now we have another modal that is not very common, it's not very popular, that is need to. Need to is when you want to express something that is necessary or not necessary to do. And need also is conjugated in the present tense in the third person singular with s. So you say for the present tense, she needs, he needs, it needs. And you need, they need. And for the negative form, you say didn't need, or doesn't need, or don't need in the present or in the past. And the past tense of need is needed, no? Needed. She needed, ella necesitó. She needed to present an exam. And is used also for obligations, but it's not very strong. No es tan fuerte. It's not very strong like must or have to. And besides that, it's less common. It's not very popular. Here you have some examples. Laura Viviana, can you read the examples that we have with needs and need, please? Laura, can you hear me?
Yes, teacher.
Laurita, can you read example number 1 and number 2? She needs. Can you read the examples with needs, please? She needs to wake up early. Repeat. She needs to wake up early. Repeat. Laura?
Teacher, pero yo no veo la otra pantalla.
You are not seeing my screen? The examples?
Yes, teacher.
You cannot see the screen? Let me see. Again, let's try it again. Here, needs to. Can you read the examples? Now can you see my screen? She needs to wake up early. Can you read the examples or not? Laurita?
No, teacher.
No, you cannot see the screen. It's strange. Porque tú lo estabas viendo, ¿no? Okay, the example, she needs to wake up early. Needs, she needs is something that is necessary to wake up early. Wake up means despertar, no? Something that is necessary. She needs with S. And we need to ask for help in emergency moments. We need to ask for help. In this case, we need no with S because S is only for the third person singular, he, she, or it. He needs, she needs, it needs. But you say we need to. We need to ask for help in emergency moments. Okay? So we have explained 2 and 3. Yes, 3 modals. 3 modals. One is must, the other is have to, and the other is need to. Now we are going to remember a little and we are going to share this quiz. Let me see if you now can see my screen, Laura Viviana Gonzalez. Now you can see my screen, modal verbs quiz. Laurita? Hello, Laura. Can you hear me? Or do you have internet problems?
Yes, teacher. Ya lo estoy solucionando.
Okay, you have maybe that's why you cannot see the screen because maybe your internet is very weak and you cannot see the screen very well. Hello, Claudia. Good evening. Claudia, can you hear me? Claudia, can you hear me? Can you say something in the chat? Or maybe if you have problems with your microphone, can you answer, say something in the chat, please? Laura, did you solve the problem? ¿Solucionaste, Laura?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. And Claudia, hello, good evening. Okay, we are going to have to do this. We are going to answer this modal verbs quiz. So the idea is that we are going to choose the appropriate modal in order to complete the sentence. We are going to use not only the modals must and have to that we have studied previously, but also the modals that we practiced last week. So in this quiz also, you can select or choose the modals should, can't, could, okay? All of the modals. But let's start. Here you have the first sentence. And the idea is that you are going to choose the appropriate modal according to what you understand. Remember, don't have to for something that is not necessary to do in the present. Mustn't for a prohibition. And are allowed to something that is not prohibited, que es permitido hacer. Remember, you are in a library. What is a library? Library is like a Virgilio Barcos library, for example. And you don't have to, you mustn't, or you are allowed to speak loudly. What do you think, Laura, is the appropriate modal? Don't have to, you don't have to speak loudly, or you mustn't speak loudly, or you are allowed to speak loudly. To speak loudly means to speak in high volume, con un alto tono de voz. And remember that you are in a library. You are allowed to, you mustn't, or you don't have to. What do you think is the appropriate modal, Laura? Laurita,
Sorry,
because,
teacher.
yes, go ahead. What do you think is the appropriate modal? Don't have to, mustn't, or are allowed to? Read the complete sentence.
Monson,
Can you read the complete sentence, please? Remember,
remember, you are in
in a
library,
in a library,
you must
not, you
speak
must,
loudly.
you mustn't, okay? And remember, Laurita, the pronunciation is library, okay? You are in a library and you mustn't speak loudly, okay? So let's just mustn't. Very good. Because it's a prohibition. When you are in the library, you must speak, okay, quietly in a low volume of voice. Very good. Let's continue with the next one. Let's choose the correct option. What do you think is the appropriate modal? Might, can, or should? Don't forget to take an umbrella. It might, it can, or it should rain later. Remember the modals that we studied last class, the modals of possibility. Remember, can is used for abilities, should for giving advice, might for something that can be possible, possibilities. What do you think is the appropriate modal? Might, can, or should?
Is this
Teacher,
Yes, Laurie?
lo que pasa es que sigo viendo la primera imagen.
Maybe you continue with problems with the internet, baby. Look at, this is the first one, mustn't. And now I am in the second one. Don't forget to take an umbrella. Listen, it might, it can, or it should rain later. It rained later. Is with might, is with can, or is with should? What do you think is the appropriate modal? Escuchemos y escojamos entonces la mejor. What do you think? Let me see. Si yo paso a la siguiente, ¿usted cuál sigue viendo, Laurita? Laurita, ¿todavía estás viendo la primera?
No.
No, teacher.
¿Ya puedes ver la segunda? ¿La que yo estoy
Yes,
leyendo?
teacher.
Don't forget
Yes,
to
teacher.
take an umbrella. It might, it can, or it should rain later.
I'm should.
It should. ¿Debería llover más
I'm
tarde?
big should.
No.
Yes, teacher.
¿Por qué should? Si should es para dar un consejo. Y entonces tú dices, ¿debería llover más tarde? No podría ser. Don't forget to take an umbrella. It rained later. What is the appropriate? It might, it can, or it should. Remember that should is for giving advice. Entonces tú podrías decir, you should take an umbrella. Ahí sí, deberías cargar una sombrilla. Pero aquí es it rained later, llover más tarde. It what?
In can't.
Can is for abilities, asking for permission, giving permission. So what is
Sorry,
the
might.
might, because it's a possibility. It might rain later. Podría llover más tarde, ¿ok? It might. Entonces ya sabes ahí entre los tres modales. Should for giving advice. Can, permission, abilities. And might for possibilities. Very good. When you are not sure about something. Let's go on with the next one. Choose the appropriate option. It's a question. May she wear jewelry to school? Does she have to wear jewelry to school? Or is she allowed to wear jewelry to school? Jewelry means accessories. It's the same. Jewelry is when you are carrying a watch, earrings, necklaces, bracelets. Those are jewelries and they
Teacher,
are very expensive.
May she
wear?
wear her shoes to school?
Are you sure? May she? May I sit down here? Es cuando tú estás pidiendo un permiso. Remember that may is for offering, for giving permissions, for something that is possible in the present. But here you have something different. The situation is different, Laurita.
Does she have?
Does she have to wear?
Does she have? Is an obligation? Something that is necessary, obligation? Does she have to wear jewelry to school? ¿Tiene que llevar joyas al colegio? I don't think so.
Is she allowed to?
Is she allowed to what? Complete the sentence. Is she allowed to?
Is she allowed to wear jewelry to school?
Jewelry, very good. Is she allowed to wear jewelry to school? This allow means permitido. ¿Le es permitido llevar joyas? Okay, is she allowed to wear jewelry to school? Let's go on with the next one. Next one. Very, very be ill. I've just seen her. I've just seen her. Very can be ill. Very can't be ill. Very has to be ill. I've just seen her. Ese just significa justamente, acabo de verla. I just seen her. What do you think is the appropriate modal? Can, can't, negative, or has to?
Betty can be ill if
Be
he
ill.
seen her.
I've just seen her, okay? The pronunciation is I've just seen her. And Betty can't. Claro que no puede estar enferma, la acabo de verla. Betty can't. Very good. Is the appropriate answer. Betty can't be ill. I've just seen her. Okay? So let's continue with the next one. Hello, Claudia Rojas. Good evening. You have problems of connection tonight. Tenemos problemas de conexión, ¿no, Claudia? Claudia, can you hear me? Okay, Laura. Let's continue with the next one. You can't, you don't have to, or you mustn't. Vacuum the carpet. Phil's already cleaned the room. Vacuum the carpet es aspirar la alfombra. You vacuum the carpet. Phil's already cleaned the room. What do you think is the appropriate modal? You can't, you don't have to, or you mustn't. Vacuum the carpet.
The carpet.
John mustn't vacuum
Mustn't
the
the carpet?
Yes.
Do you think that, remember, the difference in this sentence are can't is for inabilities, o sea, cuando tú no puedes hacer algo. Don't have to when something is not necessary to do. And mustn't is for prohibitions. So, you vacuum the carpet. Phil's already cleaned the room. Ese already decir ya se ha limpiado el cuarto. What do you think is the appropriate modal, Laura?
You don't have to vacuum
Yes.
the carpet. He's already cleaned the room.
Phil's is Phil's, no? Phil's already cleaned the room. Very good. Something that is not necessary. It's not necessary because Phil, he has already done the activity. That's why you say you don't have to vacuum the carpet. Phil's already cleaned the room. Very good. Let's go on with the next one. Next one. Choose the appropriate option. Larry may, mustn't, or must be at home. His car is outside. In this sentence, you have to deduce, and you can deduce which of the modal. His car is outside. That is very important. El auto está afuera. Por lo tanto, Larry may be at home, mustn't be at home, or must be at home. What do you think? His car is outside.
Larry must be at home.
At
His
home?
car is outside.
Outside. Repeat. Home.
Home.
Laurie? Outside.
Home.
Home.
Outside.
Outside. The pronunciation of home and outside. Very good. It's a deduction, no? If his car is outside, it's because he must be at home. Very good. Must. Larry must be at home. His car is outside. Very good. Let's go on with the next one. We are here while you are doing the quiz, you are practicing and you are learning. Acuérdate que estamos de una vez aprendiendo. Here again. I am not allowed. I am allowed. Or I have to take away electronic devices on school trips. Electronic devices are, for example, cameras, cell phones, tablets, iPads, speakers. I take away electronic devices on school trips. You say, I am not allowed, I am allowed, or I have to take away. I have to take any electronic devices on school trips. Any, when you have any, Laurita, means that your sentence is negative, okay? With any, the sentence is negative. So, what is the appropriate answer? I am not allowed, I am allowed, or I have to take any electronic devices on school trips. Laurie, what is the answer?
I am not any electronic devices on school trips.
Very good. I am not allowed.
On school trips.
Yes, very
I
good.
am not allowed.
I am not allowed. Very good. Always when you have any, you have two options. Negative form or questions. Because here is not a question, como no tenemos una pregunta ahí, entonces significa que la oración debe quedar negando. Siempre que tú tengas any en una oración, o es que está negando o está preguntando. En este caso, como no hay pregunta, pues tiene que quedar negando. I am not allowed to take any electronic devices. Very good. Let's go on with the next one. Number 9. Number 9. Choose the correct option. Whose pen is it? You say, I am not sure. It has to be Sandra's, or it must be Sandra's, or it could be Sandra's. Remember, Laurita, that before is negative sentence. I am not sure. And you say, you are not sure, que no estás segura. I am not sure. It has to be Sandra's and is asking for whose pen is it? This is a pen, a pencil, ¿no? ¿De quién es este esfero? Whose pen is it? And you answer, I'm not sure. It has to be Sandra's, it must be Sandra's, or it could be Sandra's.
It has to be Sandra's.
But you say, I am not sure. ¿Tiene que ser de Sandra? Cuando tú dices que no estás segura anteriormente estás diciendo I am not sure. No estoy segura. Tiene que ser de Sandra, entonces ahí habría una incoherencia. porque dices por un lado que no estás segura y luego por el otro asegura que es de Sandra. Entonces, no podría ser has to.
¿Y must be Sandra's?
Tampoco, porque must es para deducciones y es cuando tú dices debe ser de Sandra. It has to es tiene que ser de Sandra. It must debe ser de Sandra. Pero aquí no estamos diciendo ni it has ni it must. Entonces, no está segura. ¿Cuál sería? Possibilities.
It could be Sandra's.
Very good. Podría ser de Sandra, pero no es que no estamos seguros. Por eso las dos anteriores no te sirven. The appropriate answer is could. It could be Sandra's because before you say, I am not sure. Okay? Very good. Continue. Next one. Number 10. Choose the appropriate option. You can't, you have to, or you are allowed to be hungry. You've just eaten lunch. Remember that just is expressed when an action finished recently. Just means justamente acaba de pasar tal cosa. Yes, you've just eaten lunch. You've just eaten lunch. So,
You,
what do you think?
you are allowed to be
You are
hungry.
allowed to be hungry. ¿Te es permitido tener hambre? Acuérdate que ese allow to significa tener permitido, ser permitido, permitirse hacer algo. El allowed.
You can't be hungry.
You can't be hungry. And remember the difference, Laurita, between the pronunciation can and can't. Can is affirmative. Can't is negative. You can be hungry or you can't be hungry. What is the appropriate one? Laurita, can you repeat?
You can't.
Can't, very good. Be hungry. Why? No puedes tener hambre. You've just eaten lunch. Acabas de almorzar. Okay, very good. Let's go on with the next one. Students borrow up to 4 books at a time. A student must. Borrow up means prestar, ¿no? Prestar los libros que se prestan en la librería, en la biblioteca. Students must borrow up to 4 books at a time, or students are allowed to borrow up to 4 books at a library, or students can't borrow up to 4 books at a library. What do you think is the appropriate one? Borrow up, remember that is pedir prestado. Books at a time.
Students are allowed to
Are allowed to
borrow up to 4 books at
book
time.
at a time,
At
okay?
time.
At a time, quiere decir al mismo tiempo. At a time. So students are allowed to borrow up to 4 books at a time. Very good. Let's go on with the next one. Number 12. Choose the appropriate option. Mr. Black might be away this weekend. Mr. Black has to be away this weekend? Or Mr. Black must be away this weekend, but we are not sure. But we are not sure. It's a possibility. What is the appropriate modal for possibilities?
Mr. Black might be white this weekend, but we're not sure.
Sure, very good. Excellent. Why no has to? Porque como no está segura. ¿Por qué no must? Porque tampoco es una deducción. Cuando decimos but we are not sure, quiere decir que es una posibilidad. And the only modal for possibilities, might. Has to and must are for obligations. Okay, Laura? Very good.
Okay, teacher.
Let's continue with the next one. Choose the appropriate option. He could, he can, or he can't speak Spanish fluently. He's been in Madrid for only a week. He's been in Madrid for only a week. And remember that we are talking about speak a language, in this case Spanish. And when we speak a language like Spanish, is when you are talking about abilities. Abilities or inabilities. What is the modal? He's been in Madrid for only a week. Solamente una semana. What do you think is the answer?
She can speak Spanish fluently.
Fluently? He's been. It's his. He.
He's been in Madrid for only a week.
Very good. The appropriate is he can't, ¿no? No puede tener ya esa habilidad de hablar español fluido. That's why the appropriate modal is can't. He can't speak Spanish fluently. It's an inability. He's been in Madrid for only a week. Very good. Let's go on with the next example. Next one. Number 14. I was using my mobile a minute ago. It must, it have to, or it could be somewhere here. I was using my mobile phone a minute ago. It must, it have to, or it could be somewhere here.
He was using mobile a minute ago. It must be somewhere here.
Very good. So, and remember that have to is not possible. ¿Por qué este have to no es posible? Porque tienes acá el it, ¿no? Y con el it tendría que ser has, de ya descartado, por gramática descartada.
It have to.
It have to no puede ser, no puede ser. El apropiado es el que tú has dicho. It must, ¿no? It must be somewhere here. Cuando tú tengas el have, para las terceras personas, it no es have, es has, ¿no? Es la conjugación apropiada. It has to, or she has to, or he has, but you say I have, you have, We have, they have. Okay? Very good. Let's continue with the next one. Choose the correct option. We are allowed to bring our own music to the school disco? Or are we allowed to bring our own music to the school disco? Or are they allowed to bring our music into the school disco? What is the appropriate question? The introduction to the question. What is it? Remember, how do you start the question? Remember that you say, bring our own music to the school music, to the school disco.
We are allowed to bring our own music.
Remember, that is a question. It's a question, Laurita.
Are they allowed?
Remember that says, bring our own music. Our is with they.
Are we allowed to bring our own music to school disco?
Very good. Are we allowed to bring our own music? This is the appropriate one. Are we, because it's a question, no? And we is with our we is the connection. So are we allowed to bring our music to the school disco? Do you understand? Remember that this allowed means permitido, ¿no? Si es permitido. El verbo allowed es permitir. Remember, mustn't for prohibitions. And remember, doesn't have to when something is not necessary to do. An affirmative way, have to or has to, is for rules and laws. Cuando estamos hablando de las leyes, de las reglas, do, have or has to. Okay? Must for personal obligations. Mustn't for prohibitions. Doesn't have, don't have to for something that is not necessary to do. We are going to stop this and I am going to share with you, Laura, one activity that is like a game. And the game consists on, this is a game activity that now I am going to explain to you. Look at my camera, my screen. This man, the man's boy is Castaway. Castaway is alone in that island. It's a very small island, but he's lost and alone then. Okay? Castaway is alone, está solo, alone, and he wants to come back home. We are going to help Castaway to come back home, Laurita. Okay? And we are going to click on the right raft. The raft with mustn't or the raft we don't have to. In order to complete the sentence that is here in the up part, if your answer is okay, we are going to rescue Castaway. If your answer is wrong, he continues there on the sea. Okay? So we are going to save Castaway. Lo vamos a salvar de que no se nos hunda ahí en el mar. In order to do that, we are going to choose the appropriate modal, mustn't or don't have to. in order to complete the sentence that is here above. So, Laurita, what is the appropriate answer? Children mustn't play with fire, or children don't have to play with fire? What do you think is the appropriate one?
Children must
Must or
play
mustn't?
with
¿Cómo pronuncias? Mustn't. Okay, children.
mustn't.
Children mustn't.
Children mustn't play with fire.
Very good. So you choose mustn't. Very good. Lo rescataste, no se hundió. Let's go on and hear the sentence. Children mustn't play with fire. Next sentence, Laurita. The next sentence says, you mustn't or you don't have to speak to the driver when the bus is moving. It's dangerous. It's dangerous means that is something very strong. So you mustn't or you don't have to speak to the driver when the bus is moving. What do you think is the appropriate modal, Laurita?
You don't have to speed to take driving when the bus is moving. Is dangerous.
It's dangerous. You say it's dangerous.
Dangerous.
Dangerous. Repeat.
Dangerous.
Dangerous. Dangerous.
Dangerous.
Very good. It's better. So you say the appropriate one is don't have to. Yes? You don't have to speak to the driver? Yes? Let's choose. No, no lo rescataste. The appropriate answer is you mustn't. You mustn't speak to the driver when the bus is moving. It's dangerous. Como dice ahí después, is dangerous, significa que es una prohibición no hablarle al conductor. So, you mustn't. Ahora sí se rescató. ¿Ok? Be careful. The appropriate answer is you mustn't because it's a prohibition. You mustn't speak to the driver when the bus is moving. It's dangerous. Como dice que es peligroso, por eso es una prohibición. Okay, let's go on with the next one. I like Sundays because I mustn't or I don't have to go to work.
I like Sundays because I don't have to. I don't have to go to work.
Very good. I don't have to go to work. Very good. This is something that is not necessary. Very good. You rescue him. Now you rescue Castaway. Next one. Let's go with the next sentence. It is forbidden. Forbidden means prohibited. It is forbidden. It is prohibited. You do that. You mustn't do that, or you don't have to do that. What do you think is the appropriate answer?
It is forbidden. You must do that.
You mustn't, no? The pronunciation is
You
must not.
mustn't.
You mustn't do that. Okay? You mustn't do that. Very good. It is forbidden. You mustn't do that. Very good. Let's go on with the next one. You arrive before 9 p.m. So you mustn't or you don't have to arrive before 9 p.m. But you should be here before midnight. What is the appropriate? Mustn't or don't have to? Remember
Joe,
that, yes,
don't have to
yes, you don't have
arrive,
to arrive,
arrive
arrive
before it,
before
name,
mm,
before
9 p.m.
neighborhood,
Neighborhood.
Joe, Bojo Joe, beheaded before it, my night.
Before midnight. Very good. Before. Very good. But you should be here before. Very good. It's not necessary to arrive before night, but before at midnight you have to. Very good. Next one. Here. When the traffic light is red, Laurita, you mustn't go on or you don't have to go on. What is the appropriate one? When the traffic light
Must,
is red, you must or mustn't?
Monset.
You mustn't. Can you read the complete sentence, Laurita? When
When
the
the
traffic
when
light,
the traffic
light,
light
when the
The
traffic light
light
is
is
red, repeat. When the traffic
when the
light is red,
traffic
when the traffic light is red,
you
Joe,
mustn't,
you must
You got to
go
go
mustn't
on.
on.
go on. Very good. You mustn't. Very good. You mustn't go on. Next one. The next one. You mustn't or you don't have to stay here. You can go home. You can go home. So you mustn't stay here or something that maybe is not necessary. You don't have to stay here. You can go home.
Joe don't have to
Very
stay
good.
here.
Stay here.
You can have home.
You can go home. Very good. You don't have to stay here. It's not necessary. So go home. Very good. Excellent. You rescue him. And now let's go with the number 9. Sentence number 9. Mustn't and don't have to. With you mustn't ask my permission. You can do what you want. Or you don't have to ask my permission. You can do what you want. Something that is mandatory, prohibition mustn't. Something that is not necessary, don't have to. What do you think?
John
Como
must
ahorita es la novena
as
esa.
my permission.
Permission.
John can do what John
Sí,
what?
But Laurita, do you think that is a prohibition? You mustn't ask my permission? Or is something that is not necessary? Remember, if it's a prohibition, mustn't. And don't have to if it's not necessary to do something. Ask my permission, que si no me necesitas preguntarme, no necesitas pedirme permiso. Tú puedes hacer lo que tú quieras. You mustn't or you don't have to.
Joe don't have to ask my permission. John can do
Mhm.
what John what?
Very good. You can do what you want. Very good. The appropriate one is you don't have. You don't have to ask my permission. You can do what you want. Very good. Let's go on with the next one. You drink alcohol. You can have a soft drink. You can have a soft drink. Or you drink alcohol. You mustn't or you don't have to drink alcohol. You can have a soft drink. Okay, so the appropriate answer is you don't have to drink alcohol. You can't have a soft drink. And the next one. You don't have to drink alcohol. You can have a soft drink. And the next one. Visitors mustn't smoke or visitors don't have to smoke. Visitors mustn't smoke. It's a prohibition. Very good. The next one. Is optional. We mustn't or we don't have to go if you don't want to. Is optional. We mustn't or we don't have to. Because S is optional, we don't have to go to if you don't want to. It's optional. That's why it's not a prohibition. So you say, it's optional, we don't have to go if you don't want to. So it's optional, we don't have to go if you don't want to. The next one. This is very important. You mustn't or you don't have to forget what I said. This is very important. You mustn't or you don't have to forget what I said. This is very important. If it's very important, it's something mandatory. So this is very important. You mustn't forget what I said. You mustn't. Because it's very important, you mustn't forget.